Thank you for tuning in to Ungentrified with Kent Johnson. Ungentrified takes an unfiltered view on pop culture, music, television and film, politics, current events, and topics central to the worldwide Black community. Ungentrified is a safe audio space for celebrating Black culture in its purest form. What's up, good people? Thanks for tuning in to another very special episode of Ungentrified. I realized I didn't do that last week. These are very special episodes. These are a break from the norm. But we're back with another recap of Insecure. Last night's episode was episode 2 of season 4, which is Lowkey Distant. So I guess let's get right into it. Oh, before we do that. If you guys have been listening, you know who's on the other end of this conversation. But if you're just joining us for the first time, have a seat. And let me introduce my best friend, B, to us. Say hi to the people.
Hey, it's B. I'm shaking my boobs right now, like I'm excited. My breastfeeding boobs.
Oh, yeah, you're multitasking right now. That's right.
I am.
Modern day woman. That's right. Okay, so Lowkey Distant. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So a lot went on in this episode, but it went on in a lot of different places. So it'd probably be easy to just attack the groupings of people and the things that happen to those groupings. So let's go ahead and start with Molly and Andrew. So
I mean, yay!
Is that your official statement?
I don't know. They're giving me a headache, but sure.
Well, first, shout out to Molly for being a new Molly this episode. I don't know who this Molly was, but I'm glad she's turned a new page. She's being, I guess, I don't want to say an adult, but she's being a better person about addressing the issues that are happening in her life and being very upfront about addressing those things. So first thing on that is Molly and Andrew. They've been, I guess, going strong or just going. I don't know if it's strong.
It seems like they're going strong. Like they seem like they're building, like they really get along. I don't know, they're really cute together. I enjoy watching their good stuff.
Right. There's a lot of flirting, which for them means snarky comments back and forth, which is cool. I mean, that's how I handle it too. So I understand that love language.
Mhm.
So, they're flirting, having a good time, going out to eat, hanging out, smashing at the end of the night. But that's pretty much it. Like, it's very surface level. And it's been going on for a while now. And Molly, being Molly, is attached, but hasn't said anything about it. But she presented it to Kelly and Tiffany and Issa, and they told her, like, speak up about it. If this is how you feel, say something to them. So she wanted more to that than just what they were doing. She wanted to see if it was actually a relationship hidden between the snarky comments and the good sex. So.
Which is, that's a growth for her in general because she's just keeping it up front and she just wants to like have more than just, sex.
Right.
I mean, that it's like the opposite of the dro effect, right? She wants like something more serious. But I did, pick up on the fact that she told Issa last.
Right.
But I mean, not on purpose, but she did tell Issa last.
Right. And we're going to get into that. There was a lot of either delayed information or withheld information this episode. And intentionally delayed or withheld. And it wasn't just Molly, but like I said, we'll get into that. So Molly plans a stay-at-home situation, a gumbo and chill for her and Andrew. So she spends all day, because you can't do nothing but spend all day making gumbo. It doesn't It, it's not a quick meal, and
No.
that's a meal.
Especially when you make it 5 times.
Right. Yeah, when your roux is jacked up and you got to keep doing it, yeah, like that's a all day thing. So she clearly put the effort in. The effort was there, and she made dinner, tried to have a conversation where they talked about the things in their life. She's showing him pictures of her family and whatnot, and then while they're on the topic of family, well, I'm sorry, they were talking about Disneyland, and he brought up that even though he lived close to Disneyland, he never went because his sister wasn't good with crowds. And then she started asking, which were very innocent questions, starting off about
Hmm.
the sister, and he let her know uh, in a few words or less before he officially let her know that, like, I'm not trying to talk about it. And I'm surprised, like,
Hmm.
as an attorney, she must not be a trial attorney because she did not catch the hints at all. It was a good like 3 or 4 questions before he was like, "Girl, if you don't leave me alone about about that." So,
But I don't think it wasn't that she didn't pick up on it. She was just kind of like pursuing. Like she was just kind of like digging a little deeper. Like maybe if I ask the third time, he'll be like, "Sure, let me just open up to you," or at least say something else, right? Instead of just shutting down. But no, he not really shut down, he bounced. He was like, "You know what? I'm out."
right, right, because when he shut her down, she was very forward about it. Like, "Hey, I'm just trying to get to know you better. This is what I want out of us. I like us. I want it to be more than what it is." And he bounced and went to the Summer Walker concert because he was just like, this ain't what I want right now." Um,
Hmm.
so I don't think she was wrong. And this is the first when I'm referring to Molly. I don't think she was wrong in addressing her concern, but
Me
um,
either.
I think that it did to me. It came off kind of fake when she kept asking the questions, like like she felt like she had to. Like, "Oh, come on, you can tell me about your sister. It's okay. You can open
But
up."
I feel like I don't think it was fake. I think what happened was she was keeping it light so she didn't sound like she was being like naggy. Like she was just
Right,
like, like, all right, I told you about me, so how about this? Okay, well, tell me a little bit more about that. Like I think that she had like that high pitched, like I'm almost just joking, but I'm not joking. Like, tell me about this person because she didn't want it to sound like, well, I told you, now you tell me, or you owe this to me. She didn't really feel like that. She was just kind of like, let's let's engage. I'm doing all the talking. Like, help me out.
right,
But he took it like nagging, and it was not good. As a matter of fact, he said something like, "You always got a problem with something," or something like that. Like you always find a problem, or something like that.
right. Which is, I'm sure, the thing that she does not want to hear because everybody's telling her that, and she's really trying to
Yeah.
change. At least in this episode, this might have been the only time we see this Molly, but for this episode, she was trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't end on a good note. He was at the Summer Walker concert, and she was eating salty gumbo by the end of the night.
Alone.
Right, alone. uh, so yeah, that kind of left her in a sour place.
Hmm.
But let's move on. Let's move on to Condola, Issa, and Martin Lawrence, as we learned last night. Um,
Hmm.
so Kondo and Issa had a very awkward moment that turned into a good moment when they were going over the space where the block party would be, and they realized that both of them were okay with the Lawrence situation and that there was no
Hmm.
Lawrence situation. They're good. It's good. We're all grown. We can handle it. And then they
Yeah.
shared a moment where they were sharing the things that they know about Lawrence. And that was kind of the connecting moment. And then they went about their way. Also, of note is
Mm.
that Condola mentioned that she was going out of town that weekend. She didn't say with who. So she didn't confirm
Right.
that it was Lawrence. And we learned it later on in the episode. I don't know if you picked up on this, but on Friday night, the night of the concert, Lawrence was home alone. So I don't know where Kondo was supposed to be on the way to the
Mm.
concert, but we never saw her. I don't know if that was
I
just
didn't pick up on that.
how the scene was cut or what have you, but uh, she said she was going out of town. Didn't say
She
who.
did, and it was that awkward moment where they were she like where Issa was like, "Oh, oh, it's a romantic," thing. And she never did. She didn't ever say that it was Lawrence, but that was the insinuation because then it went into the whole conversation about the fries on the with the mayonnaise or some
Yeah,
nastiness.
right. And yeah, and we'll get back to that. So yeah,
Okay.
we don't know that. So that's an up in the air moment. We'll take note of that. But Kondo the next day at lunch tells Lawrence that she and Issa had that bonding moment where they were laughing over a thing that Lawrence does. And that put him on alert, like, well, what else did y'all talk about? Why y'all swapping stories about me? And
Because in real life, we would have had all kinds of conversation. We would have been talking about, well, I won't say all the things, but we would have been sharing stories.
right, it would have been
Guys aren't the only ones that do
right.
it.
He actually got away very, very soft with what could have been discussed, like the fact that
hmm
Issa basically carried him financially for 5 years. I'm
He was a
sure,
hobo.
right? He doesn't want that information to get out. Um, I'm trying to remember if she knows that he got an STD from those two white girls.
I'm sure he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't.
but
I'm sure she should just not know that.
right, but I'm sure Lawrence or Martin, as we learned, has a couple of things in his closet that he doesn't want Condola to learn about before he has the chance to tell her, or at all.
Or if he does, yeah, or he maybe just doesn't want to tell it at all.
Right. And that, that's something that a lot of us have the benefit of having when we get into a relationship is most times that person doesn't know our inner circle or, the degrees that separate us. So we can hide some of the information about us. That's why people are leery of introducing, whoever they're dating to their friends because you don't want to be presented with the opportunity where those pieces of information can come out. So
hmm
Lawrence goes back to Chad and Tiffany's husband, and I'm mad I can't remember his name. Derek, yes. Uh, to
Tiffany's husband,
yeah,
because that's who he really is, right?
that's all he is.
Tiffany's husband.
To Chad and Derek to present the issue to them, like, hey, should I be stressed out about this? And they're like, leave it be, uh, because you
Because you
don't
can't do anything about it.
right.
If
'Cause
you stress about it, then that just makes you seem pressed. Like, what are you hiding? Do you still have feelings? Like, it just makes you feel pressed. But then if you're like mean about it, like I don't know, like either way, you come off really bad. Like if it sounds like either you're too nice or you're too mean, and either way, you just want to like be in between because you don't want either person to feel like maybe something else is going on.
Right. And you don't want to poke the bear. Like you don't want to put people on alert that that is a thing that is in your
Because then
mind
they'd be like,
space.
oh, so you didn't want me to tell her that you,
Right. Or you
because then that's when, yeah.
right. If you thought mayo and mustard was bad, wait till I tell her about your broke ass. Yeah. So yeah, he is in a hard place right now. But he decides to go over to Issa's new spot and
That was weird.
yeah, it was weird. And not because that was a conversation that could have been had over the phone, but
On
he
the phone, yes.
but he decided to have it in person because that's how much of a trail you don't want to be associated
hmm
with it. I'm sure texts got deleted and phone call logs got deleted after that because like you do that conversation where you got to gauge how people respond to it. That
hmm
was the reason why I was in person. But yeah, went over to Easter spot and softly threw it out there that hey, could y'all not do that no more?
I know y'all cool, but don't be too cool.
Right. Um, and that was the first time I think he had been to the new spot, and yeah, I mean, it was an adult moment where they were like, okay, cool, hey, there was no nastiness between them. They're in a really good space, and it seems like they've been for
They're still
quite some
kind of in
time
an
now.
awkward space though, too, because like they still don't really know how to act around each other. Like they feel cool, but then it's like when she called the next night or whatever night she was meeting up with her and was like, did you tell him that we talked? And he was like, no, just don't even worry about mentioning it. And then after they had finished the business part of that call, she was like, so how you doing? He was like, nah, we done. Bye.
Right,
And
right.
hung up on her.
Like we ain't got to do this. And I mean it's a good boundary for him because it's not good to have secrets with your ex when your ex
No.
is cool with your potential next. Like like that sets you on a wrong path because secret turns into secrets and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a problem. Um so I'm actually glad that he cut that short and called it a day on that. But it was
But it was funny.
yeah, it
It was
was.
funny.
And it was really responsible of Issa to call and be like, "Hey, like, what's the play for this
Where we at?
situation?" Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that it doesn't
But
happen
then doesn't
again.
that kind of like make you feel like they feel like they're doing something wrong? Like to me, that shows almost like a little bit of intent. Not like a ton, not like, oh, next time it's gonna be us sleeping together and we're not gonna tell her. But it just makes me feel kind of like I don't know. I feel like when you're checking with somebody, that means you already kind of feel like what y'all did was wrong. Not wrong, but I don't know how to explain it. It feels like there's some kind of negative intent there where you got to check to see if he told her. Like he should have definitely told her. Like, oh, well, he shouldn't have went over there. Never mind. I'm
Yeah.
backtracking. Go ahead.
But I'm gonna just throw that theory out there now. If while they were covering tracks, if Kondo was using Issa to cover tracks while she went out to go see her ex, because we know she divorced. Hey, I don't know what the I don't know is, but it it could be. Who knows?
It could be.
Right. So Issa's at a concert for Schoolboy Q, who she wants to be the headliner for her party. Condola's supposed to meet her there. She texts her and says she's on her way in a lift, but we never
But
see
we
her show
never
up.
see her.
Right.
Hmm.
And this was also a point, a contention that I had with Issa is that when Molly called her, because Molly called her when she was dealing with the fallout from Andrew in the gumbo
Hmm.
situation, Issa could have picked up the phone. She could have
No,
went to
it
the
was too
back. She could
loud.
have went to the back and picked up the phone. Because the thing that would have been an issue, which is Condola, because Molly has an issue with Condola, wasn't there because Condola wasn't there yet or at all.
Hmm.
So she could have picked it up real quick and be like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?" But it's also one of those things where like a course of events happens at the wrong time, and I think that's what we're starting to kind of see on the separation of friendship between the two. Is
Yeah.
that even though it's not crazy that you're at a loud concert and you can't pick up the phone right now. The fact that I needed you right now, even when I already feel like our relationship is semi-strained, just
Hmm.
adds, it's piling on. And
Yeah.
I think that's what the situation was there. But that's a good transition into our next grouping of people, which is Molly, Issa, and Condola, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So Issa and Condola are having a business luncheon meetup, what have you, in person Zoom, if you will. And they're supposed to wrap it up so that Molly can come and have dinner or whatever meal with Issa. It ends up that Issa invites Condola, like, "Oh, you should just stay. You if you're hungry, come eat with us." And Molly gives a look like, "What
I
you
didn't
doing?"
ask
Right. What you
her.
doing? Nah. And she tells Issa like, "Hey, no, I had something I really wanted to talk to you about, and I can't because I don't know this hoe. Like,
Right.
I can't get deep with you like that. Who's she?" Um,
Hmm.
but Issa kind of pushes over that, and
Well, what was she supposed to do? She said, "Well, do you want me to uninvite her?" Like you can't. You can't unbring that though, because then it just sound. She already is like on a razor thin line with Condola too,
right.
because if she does one thing that seems petty, then it'll see. You know what I mean? Like, so she's there in a good place, but she also is just kind of like, well, I can't uninvite her. I already said it.
Right. You're right. Everything has to be okay. Like everything has to be nice. They still tiptoeing
Mhm.
around each other, even though they cool
Mhm.
with the Lawrence situation. So of course, In response, Molly feels some kind of way about that and is very cold to Condola. Uh, Molly's
Yeah,
face
she
reads
stole the
every
bag.
emotion. Right,
She stole the menu. Like, I need to see that.
right. No, can I have it? It was I put my hand out, put it in my hand kind of situation. Uh,
That was weird.
and
That
and
was
it,
weird and petty.
and I think that interaction too shows like what Molly feels like is going on in the grand scheme of things. Like Condola has what Molly's supposed to have, and then
Yeah.
if she goes to try to get it back, Issa will run to Condola's assistance instead of Molly, because she could have gave Molly the menu, but she gave it to Condola. So I think if that
Well,
was
because she already stole it from Condola, so she was like, "Oh, here you go. You can see this one because I already know what I'm getting now."
right. Rem-
But
Remember how I was talking about like when it's a thing of like the circumstances just look like,
yeah,
yeah, I think that's, and we know how Molly reacts to stuff, so I could easily see her reacting that way, even though that wasn't the case. Um,
yeah.
okay, so let's see who's next on the list. Well, Issa and TSA Bay are
Oh.
they're no longer, which
I
was
mean, after we got that.
the booty button.
So wait, yeah, we saw. Oh my God, what is a booty button? I
You know
was
what the
like, oh
booty
my
button
God,
is.
no, I do not know what the booty button is. I my mouth was agape. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Because that was his for real spot.
Right, right. Yeah, he went to a whole different place. But I mean, Insecure is really ratcheting up the, and when I say ratchet, I'm not saying making them hood, but like the actual act of increasing the amount of sex scenes this year. Like it's been every 15 minutes, it's a bang out. Like somebody getting bust down on the episode. But in this particular one, we see another incident with Eastern TSA Bay where the condom goes missing. She hit that booty button so hard
Oh my God, yes.
that the condom ejected while in the
I think
midst of
really
his
the condom
mission.
didn't even want to be a part of the booty, but it was like, whoa, I'm out. That's too much.
But look, shout out to being open about sexual exploration and what gets people off
Mhm.
and various body types and sexual positions. I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, because her hanging off the side of the bed, she was like, "This feels awkward, but also good."
Shouts out to being open.
Yes.
But yeah, that and then so the condom is nowhere to be found, and then it presents itself. This
And my
was
mouth again was
right.
a wide open. I was like, "Oh my God."
I don't know what the writers team obsession is with sperm related comedy, but this is the second time we've had sperm and Issa as a slapstick kind of moment. If you guys remember back, was it season two? Or yeah, season two, I think, when Daniel skeeted in Issa's eye. And then, of course, this episode where
Yeah.
the missing condom came splooshing out
Yo.
onto
Onto the mirror.
onto the mirror that she was using to inspect herself and try to figure out what a condom was. So,
Uh,
yeah. Um, Outside of that, I think let's go back to Molly and Issa. So you brought up earlier that Molly had told everybody else what was going on with Asian Bay, but hadn't mentioned it to Issa. Um,
mhm.
and then later on in the episode, when she did mention what was going on to Issa about Andrew, she got hit with that same dart that she gave to Issa, where Issa was like, you know, you get in your way of your own happiness, which is basically
Mhm.
along the same lines of, don't you don't you get tired of being negative? Like you don't have to live
Yeah.
like that. Uh,
She
but
basically threw her exact words back at her.
right, the same thing. And then hit her with the "I'm tired for you." Like you wearing me out with all of this mess. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, and then in that moment, Molly gets a call from Andrew where he apologizes for how he reacted to, Gumbo and Chill from a couple of days ago, and Molly's feeling in a better space now. She's feeling the about what she wants and being clear in her intention. Uh, and when Issa asked, like, hey, who was on the phone? What was the conversation about? Molly doesn't tell her. So she had the opportunity to do it, but she intentionally withheld the win that she just had from Issa. So, and that's a clear defining line too, is that I had the opportunity to show you that you were wrong about what you just said about me, and I didn't even bother with doing it. So, that's another breakdown in a friendship too, where it's like, what's the use? That kind of moment or that space.
Yeah, I didn't know really what to say about that whole interaction. I think that she was kind of like one of what's that saying? Like if you aren't there at my worst, you can't have me at my best type of
Hmm.
thing. Like she was just kind of like, you don't deserve my good information.
Right.
I don't know. Like she just was kind of like, especially because it had just happened. Like maybe if it was like a couple days later or later in the afternoon, maybe she would have shared. But she had just said, I'm tired for you. Like I
Right.
can't be bothered with all this. So she was just kind of like, well, then don't be bothered with the good stuff that's happening. So I don't know. That shows a lot too because they share everything
Everything.
about relationships. Like everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, the cheating, the the going back to bad guys. Like they share so much. So if it was work, I could understand her not sharing or being like, whatever, this is not for her. But
Hmm.
the relationship stuff, that's a big thing that they're not sharing or that she's not sharing with Issa.
Right. And right now, Issa's in a fairly that she has to present when they meet up isn't bad news. Like she's saying, hey, TSA Bay and I aren't, we're not casually doing our thing no more. It sucks, but hey, gotta move on. Like even the things that could be negative for Issa aren't being presented
Yeah.
that way. Whereas
I mean, he
Molly
does have two kids
and one
and
on the way.
so I think she's winning out on that one.
Right. Yeah. But Molly is in a space right now where she's doing the right things. At least she feels like that. And then she's up until that moment where she got the call back from Andrew, she wasn't getting the response that she felt like she should. Another point,
Hmm.
I want to dig back into the episode a little bit. Molly at work with Torian.
Hmm.
Um, her and Torian are still on the outs and outs again, but they confront each other about it, and Molly's just like, "Hey, you know what? I made a mistake with the last case that we had. It was my bad. I really want us to turn things around. I think we could possibly have a friendship." And I think that kind of took Torian aback, and he was just like, "All right, whatever." But it
Yeah.
it released her from it. Like it put her in a better space. So she was like, "Hey, I can't do anything else, outside of
Right.
that." Um,
I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be negative, and now that I'm saying something, I'm also giving you the full let's make amends. But he hung up on her like Lawrence hung up on Issa. He
right,
was like, yeah, all right, bye.
right.
She's like, you're not gonna close my door.
Yeah, it was. But it's like I said, once you put that out there, you're released from it. You ain't got to deal with it no more. If they still walking around with anger and resentment, so be it. And so we really saw Molly kind of attempt to address all of the issues that were going on for her. Whether the result was what she wanted, and in at least the case that with Andrew, it actually did uh, come back to her in a good space. She got some kind of resolution for that. So they're back on again, I guess.
They are exhausting me.
Yeah. I too am tired of this off again, on again. But yeah.
Hmm.
Um
Like I feel like Dro had less baggage.
well, he had one big bag.
One big bag, but we knew what the
And a
bag
little
was. It
bag on
wasn't
the way.
hiding. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. So, next week, we did you watch the previews for next week?
No, I didn't see any.
Okay. So next week is Thanksgiving. The next episode is
Oh,
Thanksgiving, which
okay.
led me to believe that, okay, if it's because we got Halloween in this episode, next episode is Thanksgiving, we're going to see Christmas and possibly New Year's in there. We know New Year's is a defining moment for a lot of folks where change happens. So, if
Hmm.
we know that Molly and Issa are on, the fork in the road for their relationship, that might be one of the things that starts the split for good. And then it got me to wondering, well, when the hell is this block party supposed to be?
I
Like,
know.
this is
Right now,
busy
when you just
season,
told me that.
right? Yeah, so
Yeah, that's. Well, I mean, it is California,
right,
so I mean, a winter block party doesn't sound crazy, but also not a great idea. But maybe that's why she's able to get so much buy-in because nothing else is really going on at the first of the year. Because 3 months from Halloween would be, the end of January or
right.
February.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You did put that in perspective for me. Thank you. I forgot about the timeline we're working on. So we do know when the block party is. If if this episode was Halloween, so we know we're in late September, October-ish when the 4 months kicks in. So, like you said, that would put us around February for the block party. But
Hmm.
yeah, so it's Thanksgiving. We know that Condola has a Friendsgiving and Lawrence goes to the Friendsgiving. Molly goes home, and Issa and her brother meet up. That's the extent of what we know for Thanksgiving. But yeah, like I said, just picking up on we're hitting holidays this time, so we're gonna see Christmas and New Year's. I would be surprised if we didn't, especially because Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's it really is like a speed. Once Thanksgiving comes, it's a bullet
Yeah, it's
train
a sprint.
to
It is. It's a sprint
to
to
New
the new year.
Year, right? And then that
But
means
those are big relationship-y times too,
right,
right? Like those are like Thanksgiving. If you bring your people home for Thanksgiving, I mean, not even like it's a Friendsgiving, so it's not as serious. But then like Christmas, if y'all are celebrating Christmas together, and then New Year's, if you start the year with somebody, that's not just like a jump off. I don't know. I don't know if the kids are still using that one, but like if it's not just like a thing, that's like a big thing.
right.
So I don't know. At least it is for me.
And it brings on those "what are we" questions because do
Hmm.
I buy this person a gift? What kind of gift? Or if one
Like how
person
much
buys
money
a
am I
gift
spending?
and the other one, yeah, it's so many things. Like, am I spending New Year's with them or am I having a friend's New Year's Eve? Like, what? It's a whole bunch of
Hmm.
stuff that
And
people go
Christmas
through.
is family for sure. Even if you don't go on Thanksgiving or you try to have like a friends giving thing, there's no friends Christmas.
Right.
There's like a for real. I mean, like you might have like one of those white elephant type things, like a daytime drinky thing, but you're gonna go see your family for Christmas. So are they spending some family time with Christmas, during Christmas? So that's a big thing too.
Yeah. It's a lot that, like I said, that opened up a lot of doors for me. I was like, oh, that means we got a lot of material to play with in this season. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
what's coming forward next week. So I don't know any other takeaways you have for this episode.
I was a little upset that we didn't get more. What is it? Finding Latoya. Where's Latoya?
Lawrence is really into looking for
He is.
Latoya. He is deep.
He is. He's like, but is it this person? But how about this person? But for real, like if you look at if he's like really into it, that as I would be if I was looking for Latoya also. And then I sent you that link from Portia
Uh-huh.
on Instagram where she was talking about her role in looking for Latoya. So we need to find out if she's murdered or just missing.
Right. Um And did you notice the part when the cops put up the sign, the missing sign, and it said Toyota instead of Latoya?
I noticed that it was just a child's drawing of the
So
that
yeah,
we not gonna find Latoya if that's what we going off.
yeah, it's a heavy note on Black missing people in the United States and the lack of attention
And
given to
what
them.
channel is this on? Because this is not ID network
It's
quality looking
it's
for this
TV
is
One.
like
It's TV One.
BET. Oh, whoa, TV1.
It's
It's
definitely TV One.
UPN.
Really, UPN.
We're homeboys from outer space. That's the kind of level we're on. We definitely not on ID chat
No,
network.
it's coming on after Ayanla on OWN Network or something.
Ooh, okay.
That's where it feels very much at home on
It's
that
like Fix
network.
My Life. Also, where's Latoya?
Right. This season's Latoya. Next time is finding, you know,
Shamika.
right, finding Shamika. Hey. But yeah, I didn't have too much about the overall episode. It was one of those like, damn, it's over that quick. I mean, the
Oh
last
my
week's
God, I
episode felt a
thought
little longer.
that.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
like 15 minutes long.
At the end, I was like, oh, I was like, dang it, I need more.
Yeah.
I want more, like a bigger episode. I want more.
Yeah, I was like, if this is the two extra episodes that they squeezing in there with don't nothing happen for 30 minutes, then we could have just
I'm
kept
gonna be
the eight,
mad.
right? Because these are bonus add-on
But
episodes.
I'm not mad. Anything more I could get, I'm happy. They need to be an hour long, but then I'm like, this. I don't think we could fill an hour either. Like
Yeah.
it would be too thin. So let me just take my 30 minutes and be happy. But I was like sad at the end. Like, oh, I need more.
Yeah, I'm good with the 30 minutes. I just want more 30-minute episodes. But not
You need 20.
yeah. That's a solid number. But all right, you guys, if you have anything that we didn't touch on that you want us to touch on, let us know. You can hit the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Ungentrified Pod. And you can listen to this episode, last week's episode, and all of the other episodes we've done on the podcast website, which is Ungentrified. If you like what you heard, do us a favor, leave a review. Stars are nice, but words are better. If you really like it, tell a friend, let somebody know that we are cutting up and recapping episodes of Insecure every week. And
I mean, you can tell people they're bad also. It just, so people will listen. I don't
yes,
care. All press is good press.
hey, I like it. I like it. But of course, until next week, and I didn't get the episode name for next week, but until next week, peace out.
Bye.